Haunted by thoughts of days gone by, sometimes I sit and start to cry. Ghosts of the past invade my mind. Irrational thoughts are left behind. The event many years ago, it is long since past, this I know. Though it makes no difference, can't you see, that day still lives inside of me. Unwanted visits to that place hit me like a slap in the face. Lost in the ethos, so it seems, between reality and a dream. I jerk awake in dead of night, sleep interrupted by sheer fright. I scream and I cry and I wail, yet another night spent in hell. The things I say, the things I do, I know it makes no sense to you. You're not alone, I must agree. Hardly makes any sense to me. A failure I must surely seem, afraid of a memory or a dream. 'Tis very silly to be tormented by these memories. Please, just let it end it now. I don't care when, I don't care how. Just take the demons or take me, end it before I go crazy. These things I pray day after day. Please just keep the memories away. Seeking normalcy once again, hoping this nightmare soon will end. Thoughts of death in this mental war, that are kept at bay heretofore. Struggle and fight the best I can. Living not dying is the plan. I tell you this, I tell you now, I will survive, though know not how. It's all I've got, this hope of mine. In the end, it'll all be fine.
PTSD or PTS. There has been a move afoot lately to refer to PTSD as PTS. This movement is aimed at removing stigma associated with PTS. Though this is a noble goal, it really does not matter. Let's consider a few definitions, followed by a brief explanation. Trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Immediately after the event, shock and denial are typical. Longer-term reactions include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, and even physical symptoms like headaches or nausea. While these feelings are normal, some people have difficulty moving on with their lives. Post-traumatic stress is stress that may occur following a traumatic event. There are various symptoms associated with psychological trauma. These can be classified as either psychological symptoms or physiological symptoms. At the risk of oversimplification, psychological deals with the thought processes and the way the brain works, whereas physiological deals with the physical human body, including chemical and physical processes. PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, is an anxiety problem that develops in some people after extremely traumatic events such as combat, crime, an accident, or natural disaster. People with PTSD may relive the event via intrusive memories, flashbacks, and nightmares, avoid anything that reminds them of the trauma, and have anxious feelings they didn't have before that are so intense their lives are disrupted. PTSD is not the cause of the problems, in that PTSD did not create the psychological trauma. Rather, the psychological trauma laid the groundwork for PTSD to occur. PTSD is a manifestation of the inability to properly process that traumatic experience, leading to the inability to properly cope with that traumatic experience. So, PTSD is not the root cause. The root cause is the traumatic event, but problems do flow from PTSD, as PTSD is, by definition, problems in coping with the event. So, PTSD versus PTS, what's the difference? PTS, or post-traumatic stress, is the reaction some people have to an extremely traumatic event. There may be both psychological and physiological components. PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, is a clinical diagnosis that someone is having difficulties coping with the post-traumatic stress. Therefore, PTS is the reaction, PTSD is the clinical diagnosis. Let's do a quick review of some of the information we've looked at thus far. PTSD is a diagnosis. It is relatively normal behavior. It is the result of a traumatic event. The brain behaved normally. Let's remember that. Memories were just simply processed differently. The body reacts normally. By the way, this is not just a military thing. It could be you. PTSD should not be taken lightly. The person afflicted with PTSD and those around them are all affected. Those with PTSD are absolutely normal. PTSD is not imaginary, it is very real. Those with PTS are not freaks, they are normal people. In the course of normal everyday life, we encounter normal events and have ordinary memories. Suddenly, one day, BAM! Some traumatic event occurs. Some memories may be processed normally, while others may be processed differently. These memories that are processed differently effectively become walled off from the ordinary memories. These walled off memories are referred to as dissociated memories. Slowly, over time, pieces of the post-traumatic stress puzzle may start coming together. There may be flashbacks, or night terrors, zoning out, or even all three of them. The person experiencing post-traumatic stress feels ashamed of what they're going through, especially when strangers see it, and they feel guilty for exposing family and close friends to it. This leads to a cycle of memory loss, guilt, humiliation, and shame, which can then lead to self-doubt, low self-esteem, and eventually even to withdrawal. I was on a personal watercraft, a Yamaha Wave Runner, and was run over by a boat. When a boat hits a personal watercraft, it does not do that PWC a whole lot of good, especially when it hits it head-on. Come to think of it, does not do a leg any good either. In fact, it may indeed shatter that leg. Wow! Looks like it tends to shatter the other leg as well. Imagine that. Spinning boat propellers and legs usually don't mix. In fact, propellers tend to cut through legs, and that usually is not a good thing. Fortunately, they've gotten pretty good at repairing shattered legs. Oh, and repairing ones that are about cut off too. Night terrors are but one aspect of PTSD. Let's look at that for a moment. One night in 2012, a friend was visiting and fell asleep. A recorder happened to be on. Following is an excerpt of that recording. It begins with some mumbling, then some clear comments. Okay, I'll wait for it. My friend asks, what? I reply with, I'll wait for it. You'll wait for what, honey? She asks. Okay, on three. Okay, just don't forget the legs. Don't forget the legs. I'm clearly not talking to her. I am back at the lake, specifically on the dock following the accident, when they were trying to move me onto a backboard to get me off the boat. The emergency personnel had to move both me and my legs. Well, you can hear that for yourself. My friend tries to awaken me, to bring me back to reality. She yells at me to wake up. For a moment, it seems like maybe she was successful. Then I'm gone again. Ghosts of the past are now in control. I'm carrying on a conversation with the paramedic in the back of the ambulance. My friend, well, she tries to interact with me, but I'm oblivious. I'm talking to someone she cannot even see, but someone who is very, very real to me. Yes, sir. A bit more labor the next time. Yes, sir. My friend is firm in her order for me to wake up. I seem to awaken, but I'm terrified. I'm also very apologetic, ashamed, embarrassed. Remember that as a characteristic of post-traumatic stress? After a few moments, I more or less pass out and sleep through the night. Next day, I was completely unaware that anything had even happened. That is, until I heard the recording.
What? You're awake for what, honey?
Just, okay. 31st. Just, don't relax. Just
Baby, your legs are on. Steven, Steven, wake up! Steven! Steven, you're right here, baby. You're safe. Hey, honey, baby. Hey, wake up, sweetie. Honey, you're okay, sweetie? Hey. Stop.
Okay.
Hey, sweetie.
Okay.
You're okay, baby. Steven. Hey.
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir. I'm with you.
What?
I'm with you.
What do you mean you're with me? What?
I tell you now, but I know y'all want nothing to happen, will you?
What?
I didn't mean so. Why the whole shock thing? Yeah, just put it in the hospital, okay?
Steven, wake up, honey. You're okay.
Okay.
Hush. What's the matter? What's terrifying you? You need to stop thinking about it.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Nah. So stupid. You should be sure.
Okay, so this recording is, well, not exactly one of my prouder moments. Let's face it, it is embarrassing, even perhaps a bit humiliating. So why did I do it? Why did I put it out there for all the world to hear? It's a good question. Well, I hope to make a difference, to perhaps give you a glimpse into a night terror, just one aspect of post-traumatic stress. For those with PTSD, well, you clearly are not alone and can perhaps relate to it. For those who have friends or loved ones dealing with PTSD, you may well have already been exposed to some of this. If not, well, here's a sample of what your friends or loved ones may sometimes go through. And for those without any exposure to post-traumatic stress and post-traumatic stress disorder, well, now you've heard a snippet of what may go on. No, I don't want sympathy for anything that's happened. Neither does anyone else suffering from post-traumatic stress. They ask only for your understanding. So, I guess I offer this recording perhaps as a way to help people understand. Jumpstart, An Encounter with PTSD, is a book that explores a personal journey, my journey, through PTSD. Some of the book is based on recordings, such as the one you just heard. This is not a book about me per se. Rather, my story is merely used as a means to enlighten people, to show what some people in a similar situation might go through, and to try to explain it. It was just better to do it this way than to try to write in an abstract way. The book, Jumpstart, An Encounter with PTSD, is available online and is also available for electronic download. With that said, I thank you very much for your time.